Valentine's Day is a made up and very silly holiday, and it's no reason to feel bad about yourself. This Valentine's Day, learn about loving yourself. And you've probably heard that over and over and over, and on some level, you probably think it's true because you've heard it so many times, and so many people have told it to you that it must be true. But maybe it doesn't feel true. Just in this area, it doesn't feel true. And more to the point, no one has ever taken the time to tell you how. Because you can understand all the whys. If you want a relationship, loving yourself is probably the fastest way to getting one. If you want better health, loving yourself is pretty much going to get you there faster than any other pursuit, and on and on and on. So you know why you need to love yourself. But the hows don't really make sense. For example, a lot of people say, well, a great way to love yourself is to take a bubble bath. And for a lot of people that are unhappy, that sounds so trite and ridiculous that it's like an insult, like a slap in the face. And I would really challenge that person to say, until you've done it a couple times, you don't really know how pleasant a bath is, especially after a frustrating day. And hydrotherapy is scientifically proven to elevate your mood and make you feel a whole lot better, measurably. So if you're not even willing to try taking, say, a bubble bath, taking a hot tub, or even just taking a nice long hot shower and consciously, mindfully enjoying it, you're really, I would say, in a very resistant and defensive mode. So drop those defenses down and let that in. Think of other things that people have told you in order to love yourself. Exercising, sleeping, saying positive things to yourself, not criticizing yourself. So let's get right into how. A couple concrete ways. Just besides that bubble bath. Everyone doesn't have a bathtub and everyone doesn't like baths. I'm not partial to baths. I like hot tubs and whirlpools. A great way to love yourself is to meditate. Meditation is the ultimate how. It's the ultimate tool to get you from the present day to where you want to be. And it's best if you do it every single day. And for someone who's feeling lonely, meditation is going to be a really, really powerful tool because it's going to allow you to view and observe your thought patterns. And one thought pattern might be, I'm alone, so I must be unlovable, which means that I'm going to stay alone and I'm going to stay unlovable and I'm always going to be alone. Or I'm a single person. I was born that way and I'm going to die that way. Or life's a real bee and I just live to suffer. And we all say these things to ourselves, and we really underestimate the power of our minds. And our very, very powerful minds take these notions, take these phrases, and they actually intake them as commands. This is a huge problem when you're feeding that powerful subconscious mind messages like, I'm always going to be alone, I'm unlovable, no one loves me, life's a bee, life is made, we were put on this earth to be miserable, we were put on this earth to suffer. If you command your subconscious mind with any or all of those messages, it has millions of ways to manifest them in your life. That is a huge problem. So until you change those thought patterns, you're not really going to be able to give your mind different commands. How different would your life be if the commands you were giving your mind were, I'm so lovable, I'm magnetized for love, I love myself so much, love radiates from my fingertips. Every interaction I have in my life is filled with love. What would your life be like if you believed in the deepest part of your mind, body, and spirit that there was an abundance of love? there was a unlimited wellspring of love for you. What if you believed that? Wouldn't your life be different? What do you have to lose by believing that? You might as well. And it happens to be true. To really love yourself, you want to take as good care as possible of the physical vessel that your spirit takes its earthly journey on. Because we're in this vessel, we're in this body, and it is unpleasant to be achy, it's unpleasant to be sick, it's unpleasant to be overweight and not be able to get around, and it's unpleasant to feel bad about ourselves. So the more we prime the pump of well-being and do all the good things to take care of this earthly vessel, get a good night's sleep every night, eat several small, mostly plant-based light meals a day, exercise a couple days a week, drink plenty of water. If we do these basics, we're going to feel so much better. And it's not a factor of doing these things to be thin, to be fit, to be sexy. Everyone can find love exactly the way they are. And yes, initial attraction does occur because of what's outside, but two people don't come together because of that. And I'll tell you what, they may come together, but they don't stay together for that. Two spirits don't join each other for a lifetime just because one is hot and the other one's rich or whatever. They might, and people get together for those exact reasons, and they don't stay together. And if they do, they don't tend to be those happy love matches where really the two people are better off infinitely than if they were apart. Another way of loving yourself is to give up the idea that there's something wrong with you because you're single. This is so socialized into us from so many different ways. Friends, family, media, advertising. We really are a couple-centric culture. This is hugely problematic because we're taught to worship relationships, and we're taught to think of someone who's single as someone who has something wrong with them, who's lacking some sort of human capacity to have this life-defining event. It's very true that a quality, very, very good relationship enhances your life like nothing else. That is absolutely true. But a bad relationship puts your life on the rails. A bad relationship steals every dream and aspiration that you've ever had from you. And how many people do you know where they say behind closed doors, this person is sucking the life out of me? That person is down here. If you're single and content and happy, you're here in the middle. Fair enough, that perfect, actualized love match is up here, but if you're single, you should actually be really grateful that you're not down here, feeling like someone is literally sucking the life out of you. I had a very close friend confide in me recently that, thank God, does not watch this channel. She said that she never has a happy moment at home with her husband, that her child has never witnessed a relaxed, happy atmosphere in the home. And she says that every day this man is sucking the very life energy out of her veins. Now, if you're single, recognize that you're better off than that. At least you can put your feet up and watch whatever you want, and no one is haranguing you, no one is complaining to you, no one's trying to bring your energy down to meet their really low energy. So being single is not the problem. Being miserable is the problem. That has to be your sea change in your mentality towards loving yourself. You can be happy in a relationship, you can be happy single, you can also be miserable in a relationship and miserable single. What happens to a lot of people is that they prize that relationship so much. They think there's something so wrong with being single, and they end up in a relationship with someone else that thinks the same way, ending up in a codependent relationship that is not fulfilling. And if you think about the old saying, empty barrels make a lot of noise, Two empty vessels going against each other are going to make a lot of clanging and banging and a whole pandemonium. Two vessels that are full just kind of touch and make a clink. You know, a good relationship is typically silent. It speaks for itself. The people involved don't have to put it all over social media, talk about it all the time. It just exists. They're grateful for it. I know for a fact that a lot of the people that are most prolifically posting on their social media feeds about the relationship are behind closed doors miserable. I know because they tell me, and it's a night and day difference from what they're putting out into the public, and that's really, really sad. But for someone who's single, they could look at that and they could say, oh, they have this gorgeous house in LA, they have this gorgeous baby, they go to the farmer's market in Silver Lake every Saturday, and you know, everything is so perfect. But listen, I can tell you in this particular case I'm talking about, this particular home is a very unhappy, sad home behind closed doors. So why would you idolize that? It's illogical. So the sooner you accept yourself, and you don't put any labels on yourself, I am a single person, as soon as you accept yourself as a human being, you're immediately loving yourself, and you're immediately radiating a loving, self-accepting energy. A lot of people have been in the situation where they were single for, say, a year or years, and they meet someone, they start dating, and it's uncanny. They didn't get asked out on a date for a year, but the minute they were dating someone, they got 5 people come out of the woodwork and ask to date them. And why is that? If you stop to think about that, well, that person feels loved, they're radiating a new energy, and it's interesting, they're radiating a new energy, and the funny fact is, you can cultivate that energy without dating that other person. You can feel that way all on your own. So that's getting back to this how. So if you were planning to spend Valentine's Day miserable, there's kind of 2 ways you might go about it. You might do the out of the house way. You go out with your friends, you may drink way too much, just trying to chase the blues away, make some really bad decisions, not feel so great the next day. Or you could go home, drown your sorrows in greasy takeout and ice cream, and wear your gross old sweats and binge watch TV, and then sort of stalk people on social media to look at their dates, to compare it to your kind of sweatpants night. Neither of those are the way to go. That's not how to spend any day of your life, whether it's Valentine's Day or not. So for the person that wants to go out, so rather than go out and like look for someone, troll the bars, go to the clubs, try to meet some other desperado to sort of have like this desperate night. So instead of doing that, go think about the date you would want someone to take you on. Maybe you want to go to a specific restaurant in town because you know they have a beautiful view, and maybe they have a live piano player, maybe a vocalist, and so go on that date with a couple of your friends and have that date, and maybe to save money you just have a drink and an appetizer at the bar, but you still get to have that great ambiance. You're out of the house and you're all dressed up and you're with your girlfriend. So then, moving on to the introvert, the homebody. This is more my style. So you might make yourself a nice little nest by the fire. You might sit in your favorite antique French rosewood bergère. You might lounge about. So this is the specific how instructions. I want to make it explicit that this is not going to involve spending a cent. The challenge of this is going to be using what you already have. So I want you to go into your closet and pick out your dressiest pajamas or nightgown or robe or a teddy or something that is just too good for day-to-day use. You've been saving it for best, and it's going to come out of its dust jacket or come out of the back of the cupboard. So take that robe or pajama set that's too good for daily wear and put that on tonight. Put on your favorite slippers, and then take a little bit of time to arrange the house as if you had a date coming over. What would you do? You'd pick up everything, you'd maybe run the vacuum around, and more to the point, put the mood lighting on and arrange things nicely. Arrange things so that you could maybe have a bottle of your favorite wine and some chocolates in your living room, and maybe put a nice fragrance in the air with aromatherapy diffuser, and then set that stage for this romantic, really, really special evening and enjoy it yourself. Watch what you want to watch. Even if you've seen it 100 times, it doesn't matter. Even if it's for children and adults shouldn't be watching it, it doesn't matter. Eat your favorite meal, drink your favorite wine, and enjoy the time you spent making that space special for you. Something that is really hard to understand is that we actually teach people by example how we want to be treated. We actually show them. So that person that's really down on themselves, that doesn't really think they're worth a lot of attention or effort, you are teaching the people in your life how to treat you that way. And that is got to change. And the how is by treating yourself with that same deference and generosity and love that you want to treat that other person. Valentine's Day is just a made-up holiday in order to get through the retail lull after Christmas. That's it. Plain and simple. It's nothing to get upset about. But if it's the day that you decide to love yourself, it's going to be the best day of your life. So remember, if you want to be loved, love yourself. And the way you do that is by doing the things that are good for your mind, body, and spirit, that nurture you, that bless you. So I want you to picture your future self. Now we're going to go through two different visualizations of your future self. The first one is as a child. I want you to visualize your future yourself as a child. Your future self is this small child, your inner child, grammar school, preschool age child. Every single action that you take, I want you to visualize that child when you do it and ask yourself, would I, for example, let this child stay up all night binge watching TV? I hope not. Next example, would I let this hypothetical child binge on a whole bunch of really, really unhealthy junk food and get sick? No, you wouldn't do that. Would I let this child go out until dawn to all the nightclubs and after hours in the city and let them spend all their money and seriously damage their body with drugs and alcohol? No, you wouldn't do that. So visualize that child and ask, why would I do things to myself that I wouldn't inflict on this pure, perfect child? Well, guess what? You are still pure and perfect. Nothing's happened to you that's changed you in any way. That amazing potential, love, and boundless dreams are still in there. You've just become unconscious to it. So the next visualization exercise is to visualize your future self in that relationship. And don't get too attached to choosing all your future partner's features and everything. This can be general. You can be as specific or as general as you want to be. Now ask yourself, when you visualize this really happy, loved, and loving person, what are they doing? And it's okay not to get these answers right away. Let them come on their own time. So let's see, maybe my future self, maybe I see that future self sailing or hiking or doing I definitely don't see my future self doing a triathlon, but for example, if you're waiting for a relationship to do those things, you're going to be waiting forever, because you are still going to be in the mode of not loving yourself. It's a really insidious cognitive distortion to think that we're supposed to wait to start our lives until we're in a couple. That has to stop today. So if you dream of doing something with that future partner, start doing it today, and that actually will put you probably in better proximity to meeting that future partner. Okay, last piece of advice. If you have been internet dating and you're still single, I want you to take a break. I would prefer if you stop doing it. In my experience, the people that do well with internet dating do so earlier on and then meet someone and depart. The internet dating companies and the apps make the most money by revolvers, by these repeat customers who sign on for subscriptions for years, because they're finding close matches. So they're finding people that they deem worthy enough to date, but they're not finding a match for a relationship. So this is the ideal customer for online dating, this kind of serial dater getting all these near misses. And it does a lot of bad things to people. It wastes their time, and it puts them on this really, really unhealthy expectations and disappointment up and down roller coaster. And then I think worst of all, it actually conditions you to treat people as interchangeable and disposable, and the other people, your counterparties, are treating you as interchangeable and disposable because they're being conditioned as well. So instead of doing that, instead of sitting in your home alone on the computer trying to find someone, go and really think about your interests where you feel like you're in a flow state, where you feel like you are really at one with yourself. And these answers don't have to come right now, just chew on them. The answers will come. Think about what comes really easily to you, what you enjoy doing, what you used to enjoy doing before making a living came into the picture. Like before you had to choose what you went to college, what you did just for fun, what you did when you were in your early 20s and all you had to worry about was making the rent on a little rented room or something. Think about those things and then think about a way to do them apart from making money. Like for example, if you grew up and you loved horses, and rather than going into the equestrian industry on some level, you became a CPA, because CPAs will never be unemployed. You know, that's a really, really good, solid career. And this person maybe is single and they go through the tax season and they own their own business, and they're just not, they're internet dating, it's not clicking. So I would say to this person, maybe go volunteer at an equine therapy ranch or an equestrian therapy ranch where they do therapeutic riding for handicapped people. Or for example, there are a lot of sanctuary for elderly horses. There are so many different ways that this hypothetical person could be involved in their true love. And when they're in that state, they're vibrationally going to be going way up, and they're going to be radiating this love, and they're going to be in proximity with other people that love horses, and that may bind them. I hope this has been helpful to some degree. This is a really free-flowing video. As you can see, my notes have been just chilling on the side. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here down by the fire on this wonderful Valentine's Day 2020.